Let us focus ourselves to our distracted thoughts and mind to one point. Between the eyebrow, maybe on the breath. Asatu ma sakamaya Tamaso ma jyotir gamaya Mrityurma amritam gamaya Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. O Mother, take us from unreal to real. Remove the veil from our eyes of the body, mind, and the world outside of the universe. Take us from ignorance to wisdom, darkness to light. Take us from death to immortality. Om, peace, peace, peace. Check. You know, I was looking at the Houston Smith. He's written this book called World Religion, History of World Religion, in which he had a beautiful chapter on Hinduism. And originally, the name was the religion of men. That was changed because of political reasons to history of the world religion. And Houston Smith, he was very fond of his granddaughter, 12-year-old, very fond. Granddaughter, when coming back from the school, was hit by a truck and killed on the spot. A very sad incident. And there was a lot of talk and flash. Journalists came down and met Houston Smith. So, Dr. Smith, do you still believe in God? After this, Houston Smith said, there are millions of people dying every day. There are so many that you and I have come across that die. And just because my granddaughter is dead, I should doubt the question of presence of God. And then he said, there was a lady priest who was present, Christian origin. She said, how absurd, how absurd, how absurd. I have got few of the sessions of his today. You know, there is another gentleman. Some time back I had shared with you all, talking about presence of God, and Dr. Alan Watt. It's actually meant for you and me. People think it is meant for children. It is not, but the story sounds like that. You know, he says, God got bored all by himself, alone. And he wanted to play. So who is he going to play with? There is nobody in the whole universe, only God. So he came about a beautiful plan. And God being God, his plans are all wonderful, the best plan. He pretended to be not God. So, pretended to be not God is playing with who is God. Alan Watt says, it's a beautiful story. He goes on to say, God being God, he was so good, he became not God, and he forgot that he is not God. Very good, no? He totally forgot that he is not God. And then not God is searching for God. And he goes on to say that not God is you. Vijay, Tapya, Rajesh, he said that not God is you. You are searching for God. It's a wonderful anomaly. Today, we're going to take up the wisdom of the Upanishads for the modern woman and man. Now, could any one of you hear what we exchange on Thursday? Do you all get time? You listen? Okay. What I do is on Thursday, I send a message, and it is sent for those who have little Wi-Fi limitations and all. We send it also in script form as well as audio form, so that it doesn't have, you don't have to download it and it becomes very much. In discussing about what we do is on Thursday, we talk about what we're going to talk about today. Generally, that's the pattern. So today's sad thing is that this wisdom of Upanishad, if you look carefully, you and I have totally forgotten. Most men and women, and it is the birthplace of Upanishad. And modern men and women have forgotten. The saddest part, the influence of the Vedanta in the West is so strong. And why I prepare this, so that those of you can refer to it, because otherwise it's just a talk. And it's nice to hear or something like that, because we are talking about God and religion and great masters. So yes, but you can't refer to it. So that's why I'm putting it into the document, and it will be there in the website. Anyone can go back and refer to it for personal benefit. I personally do. Now, Emerson, very smart. He is considered the mind of America. This is how Emerson with his books created that whatever the Americans are doing, actually Emerson had started it. Started it what? Just with his writing. And people loved it so much that it took it up. And that is what the Emerson's mind is actually mind of America. And Emerson is going on saying, very few people know that my mind is deeply influenced with Upanishads and Vedanta. And just think, you and I don't know anything about it. Then comes he had the best collection of philosophical books, Upanishad, Vedanta, Bhagavad Gita. He said, unless I read a few lines at night, I don't get good sleep. He won't sleep unless he reads Indian Vedanta, Indian Upanishad, Indian Bhagavad Gita. And look at you and me. My intention is, I got the message that we should start to cultivate as much as we can spread. Thank you. We have Phil Goldberg. This is the book I was referring to you last time, American Veda. Imagine, he's named the book American Veda. This book is how the Americans, thank you, sure, are totally fallen for, and their major, those people who really mattered, minds are deeply influenced by Swami Vivekananda and Paramahamsa Yogananda. Yogananda, he's written another book. I have that also. They have not put it on Paramahamsa Yogananda. He's talking about a beautiful simile which you and I would be amazed to hear. He used to visit and take personal interview in America, in India, and Europe before he completed. He started writing this book, just imagine, 1961. Think, started doing research and writing this book 1961, and he finished writing it 2007. In between, it trailed off because of various changes which happened in America and the world around. He's talking that in Rishikesh, he happened to meet one monk, young guy, about 30 years of age or so. Why I mentioned about Thursdays? Because I mentioned this story. And Philip Goldberg was quite amazed to see such a young, smart guy sitting as a monk. He's living along the river. You have little hut for the monks to live. He lived in one of those huts. The Goldberg must be walking past and he saw it, so he sat down there. He was in deep meditation. And as you know, in meditation, when you do come to know who's coming. So after a while, this monk opened his eyes. He said, "Yes, sir, what can I do for you?" The monk is asking Philip Goldberg. Philip Goldberg smiles and does namaste. By then he's well versed. He says, "Tell me, how and why did you become a monk?" He said, "You know what? In India, with my parents and my family and school and college, I was a total atheist. I didn't believe in God. I was intellectually great. I got chosen to study English in America." And he went and got himself admitted in one of the Ivy League top university. He said, while studying there, same Emerson, Mind of America. He said, I studied Indian Veda Upanishad from Emerson. Can you imagine? So it shows how much you and I are lacking to spread this word around our children and our people. That's why I've, been guided to make our school IB with Vedanta. They're officially. Initially, everybody told me, IB is going to shoot you down. They will not allow anything. I said, look, this is my philosophy. I have been guided to do it. There must be reasons. And you know what? IB came and investigated. And at the end of it, those of you like, let me know, I'll send you their report. When you come to school, I'll show it to you. Amazing report. They said, we don't know what you're doing. But there's something called standards and practices. Usha knows very well. Your standards and practices make your teachers and children so different. And they're doing very well. What are you doing? I said, what are we doing is just IB with Vedanta. Including Indian parents said, how do you teach Vedanta? I said, why? No, Vedanta is big, thick book, Sanskrit. I said, no, it appears to be so. Very simple. Our masters have made it so simple for all of us. One boy asked, sir, in Islam, Ramadan was going on. Everybody reads Quran and they read every day. Christians read Bible every day. Why don't we read Vedas? Vijay, how will you answer that? I said it's a very good question. Actually speaking, those of you who read Bhagavad Gita, you must know that, don't call it plagiarism, but Sri Krishna was the first one who got the entire Upanishad into Bhagavad Gita. And there are places where it is exact Upanishad itself. So if you read Bhagavad Gita, you are reading Upanishad every day. Now, this gentleman says, when I read Emerson, I was so deeply moved. I chose to come down to India. I left my college, much to the dismay of my parents, I've become a monk. So just see, on one hand, if you look at it, it's a beautiful harmony of mixture of religion, that one is learning from the other, and no embargo, I'm an Indian, this is American. That's a wonderful thing. And second thing, just look at it, that the American mind, which is by Emerson, and he is known to be American mind. If you read Emerson, everybody knows about him. He is talking intensely about, there is another, I'm forgetting his name, it'll come to me. I think it is Emerson only. You know, Swami Vivekananda, he translated Patanjali Yoga Sutra. In 1893, he went to America. 1894, he started writing the English translation of Patanjali Yoga Sutra, and it became the first of his book and called Raja Yoga. It's a wonderful book. Raja Yoga is the first book which made me, from a fighter pilot to start looking at this yogic thing. Family is very fond of spirituality, and they were always going to Ramakrishna Mission, and I always went with them. We went as youngsters, 8, 10, 12 years of age, we used to run around in that beautiful lawn and play. And, like you see youngsters go and do like this, we used to do like that. Didn't really understand. In the Indian Air Force, there was this 1971 operation, and before that, 65. These two, and then many of you don't know, there was many operations afterwards also, 1978, which newspaper may not have much told us, people. In 71, we were almost 26 days, we were totally stuck into the base ops, and flying from there, coming back, sitting there, resting there only, not allowed to go home. So we stayed there. So after about 14 days or so, my flight commander told me, Robbin, you can go, and everybody in turn was going, you can go wash up and come back. I came, I had 2 hours time. And my mother had given me this entire Vivekananda series, and it was lying very nicely on the shelf. Never read it. That day, after taking bath and all, that's only 15-30 minute job. I had time, and something happened. I was walking around. Suddenly that book invited me, and I started to read it. And then I carried the book with me to the ops room. And that's how this strong turning towards Vedanta Upanishad started off. Today, this influence of the Philberg, Emerson, American Veda, Paramahansa Yogananda, I have put that picture over here. Those of you see written only about Mukunda, Paramahansa Yogananda. Beautiful statement by Paramahansa Yogananda to Phil Goldberg, and he's recollecting it. Phil Goldberg has made a monument of stone, such big, about that wide, from here to there. And it says, Paramahansa Yogananda and me. And that's the plaque. Where is it? I don't know. Must be in his garden or something. Huge, you can see a huge solid stone block. And me. He's quoting. I was listening to him. Phil Goldberg, those of you like, you can watch the YouTube also. Both the books are covered. He's written about 20 odd books, mainly on Indian Vedanta, Upanishad, things like that, and great masters. He's written on Ramana Maharshi also. This Phil is talking that Paramahansa Yogananda told me. I asked him, 5 days before he left his body. Gurudev, he was a disciple of Vedanta. He had become a disciple of YSS. He said, Gurudev, give me one instruction. I'll remember you by. Paramahansa Yogananda smiled and he said, he used this word. Check. Exact words. Read a little. Yogananda is telling very good. Read a little. Meditate more. And keep God in your heart all the time. So simple, with such clarity. Read a little. Meditate more. And keep God all the time in your heart. How do you do that? You see, if you look carefully, when you have a toothache, does somebody have to remind you about toothache? No. If you got a little cut or a wound somewhere in your body, you're all the time trying to cover up, protect it, and you also get hurt there. Again and again. No? And this is a beautiful statement. He said, just like a toothache, always keep God in your heart, whatever you're doing. Before you put food in your mouth, you think about the toothache, no? He said, before you put your mouth without the toothache, think about God. Give it to Him. Offer it to the Divine Mother, God, whatever you believe in. Once Paramahansa Ramakrishna was being offered and they were saying, sir, please taste it. And some loving devotee made a puri with sabji and was going to feed him. He said, wait, I have to first offer it to mother. I can't eat it without giving it to her. She's hungry. Once, meaning I'm trying to lighten that we have such great souls all around us. And right now also, there's so many beautiful, very enlightened people. But we have become too engrossed in materialism. Money, good looks, property. So often I say, and this is being spoken by Swami Sarvapriyananda in Hollywood. He's saying, in America, you have 3 types of people generally. You remember I talked about it, I don't know if you heard it on Thursday, that there are 2 types of people in the whole world, in which the Western psychology talks about doing. You have to do. You have to do something. And you have to create money and you have to go there and work hard and things like that. Whereas thousands of years old civilization, if you look at American civilization, it's just 1800 years old. And thousands of years Indian civilization, what are they talking about? Indians, Vedanta is made Indians, is what? Being. America is talking about doing. India is talking about being. And these Paramahansa Ramakrishna, he is doing worship in the Kineshwar Kali Mandir. And a cat comes in and he's saying, Mother, you have come to me as a cat. And he started feeding the cat. And the other Pandits and all goes running, complaining to Rani Rashmani and Mathur Babu, your Purohit is feeding them. Then one day, he was worshipping there and he's putting the flower on his own head. And there, and on his own head. Then he gives it to mother and he eats the sandesh also. So naturally, normal people, they all started complaining. Rani Rashmani, sitting next to him doing meditation. Rani, she was not actually queen, but she was called as a queen because she had huge property in Calcutta, West Bengal. While doing meditation, she was thinking about some court case. What could happen to that? It happens, no? Thoughts keep coming to us, bombarding us. And Paramahansa Ramakrishna, on his right, Rani Rashmani was sitting. He turned around and slapped her. Can you imagine? slapped the queen who is actually keeping him there, and the guards are always there. They came running, wanting to catch Paramahansa and beat him up. Rani Rashmani told him, no, I am at fault. And he did pranam to Paramahansa Ramakrishna. He said, so you got me. There's one American who was asking this question. Question came, I think, 1 or 2 days back. Listening to you is telling monk Swami Sarva Priyananda. Beautiful name. Sarva Priyananda. He is loved by everybody. He's asking him, see, listening to you and talks of Vedanta and Upanishad, we love to do all this. We want to. But our mind is bombarded with all funny thought, dirty thought. How do I have good thought? How do I create good thought? A very good question. So, Sarva Priyananda attacks it. He says, see, it's very difficult to go ahead and just have good thoughts. And even if you try to do it, Buddhists have a way. What they do, they have 2 bowls. One bowl filled with black stone, another bowl filled with white stone. Puts it in front. He knows, left hand is black stone, right hand is... As you know, Buddhists don't believe in God. So they believe in that meditation, pranayama, and things like that. So their meditation is, whenever you have a bad thought and they have an empty bowl in front, take a black stone, put it into that. You are meditating and you have a bad thought, put another black stone there. You have a good thought, take a white stone there. At the end of your meditation, see, what did you have? Initially, you might have all black stones or filled with very few white stones, but you continue. And you will see, as you practice, your mind will get purified and purified and purified. And soon you will reach very few black stones, the white stone. This is one way of how to have good thought. Sarva Priyananda ji, he's saying that, look, before you do all this, you have to follow a certain way. First, total life. Hold on to truth, purity, even in your thoughts, even in your action, even if you're deep, even thoughts. Somebody comes and says, did you eat that? I did. But I say, no. That's a lie. Sometimes, the communication skill, I did some specialization on that. This is supposing your wife comes in a sari and says, how am I looking? And supposing you find she's not looking good. Now you have to hold on to truth. And supposing you say you're not looking good, you had it, no? These days you don't find me, no? Something like that will fly. So what I do, very simple, and Sharada understands it very well. I say, do you have another sari? What choices do I have? And she goes and shows me, okay, this one or this one. I think this looks much better. So, in the purification process of the thoughts, you have to first check with your body and your eating habits, your living habits. You're talking to people, not talking with hostile words. Don't find fault in any other people. It's the second thing he's saying. And this is Holy Mother Sharda. In her little book, at the back it is written, if you want peace in your life, my child, don't find fault with anyone. If you want peace in your life, and Sermon on the Mount, Jesus Christ is saying the same thing. Blessed are those who are Meek in heart. Meek is very humble, weak, don't say anything. Meek in heart, for they shall see God. Those who are humble, they're not all the time, I've done this, I've done that. There are, in a meditation, one monk is teaching, and you will find you're supposed to have cheerful face. But some people put on a smiling face. Put it on. He's saying, don't put it on. But yes, do some happy thought. When you have a happy thought, automatically your face will become with a gentle smile. With this, I have put down here, there are lots of people. There is Thoreau, Walt Whitman, Eliot. Can you imagine T.S. Eliot? T.S. Eliot had the largest collection of, and when he used to write poetry, in his scrapbook, at the side, he used to write down from where he is writing it. And Bhagavad Gita and Upanishad stanzas are mentioned there. Openly, he says, these are from there. T.S. Eliot says, Upanishads, and imagine Emerson, T.S. Eliot, they read what Upanishad? Dara Shikoh translated in Persian Upanishad, which went in Latin form, dry Latin form, not very good, to US. Reading that dry thing, he says what? Upanishads have been the solace of my life, and it will be the solace when I die. Will be solace at my death. This is the power. What is my sadness, feeling heavy in heart? That our people do not know. We need to, this is what Vivekananda talked about, arise, awake. Such great work. And they have changed the entire country. They are talking about Vedanta and we are talking about being a Western. Why are we doing it? Somebody was asking me, my sister, the other day, why are we doing it? Why are we doing it? If you look carefully, I had this question. Why is it you and I didn't know in our school days? Because we were not taught. And we were taught what? You should study Shakespeare, Shelley, Keats. And then supposing a girl was studying Shakespeare and we used to say, oh, she's so intelligent, studies Shakespeare. And supposing we read Pancharatna or little stories from Mahabharata, people will say, don't read those pathshalas. This kind of a condemning action in our education system went by. And understanding, long time ago, Upanishad went to America. Just see, it's only 200 years. In 200 years, America has taken on Harvard School of Divinity is talking about research on Upanishad and Vedanta. I have mentioned a few times because I am amazed. Mind-brain consciousness unit, especially created in New York, studying Vedanta. And we Indians, we get bored, we don't want to hear it. New York University, David Chama, head of the unit, he has written a book, a very famous, like your quantum, hard facts of consciousness. He's saying, what is soft fact of consciousness? Supposing you're drinking coffee and fMRI, they tap into your brain and they said, okay, those neurons are firing. That means this implies that you are drinking coffee. those are firing, that means you are having a happy thought. So those are soft facts, those are direct. The hard facts of consciousness, he says, how can you possibly mind, brain, flesh unit, how can you have a non-body oriented, matter oriented thought? He gives an example. Let's say today's date, we have a Google car driving. Those of you have you all seen Google car? You know, I put the picture there. It looks like a Beetle, little smaller than Beetle car. And you know what they're doing now in America? They're making the lane smaller and narrower. And the rule is going to come up that you will not be allowed to drive. You can sit behind the driver's seat, but you will not touch it. Why? And they're going to make the lane narrower. Human beings can make mistakes. Computer won't make a mistake. And he says another 10 years or so, human beings won't be allowed to drive. And you're supposed to just send a message. Come and pick me up, 10 Emerson Road. Car will say 10 minutes and it will come. Parking, his problems are gone. Yes, you have to use a little more petrol. He will go and park somewhere where he knows where there is a parking space. And then, beautiful thing, the Mercedes-Benz has gone ahead and designed a car where there is no passenger seat facing, when we sit, we face the direction we're going, no? Here, it is like, those of you seen, it's a Mercedes 7-seater. I'm forgetting the name. It will come to. Not my back. It is another name, and a very famous tourist travelers, particularly in foreign countries, because the whole family goes, and there everybody's sitting facing each other, and driver's seat is there. One person can go there. He said, but in new car, there will be no facing people. It will be all facing each other, and you work while you're traveling. You can walk, talk to each other, make your problem. You don't have to look at the road. This is how the transition is taking place. That Google car is driving. You park next to it. You're also driving. David Chalmers is comparing. He said, tell me, that feeling that you get when you're driving, let's say Californian beach road, cool wind, and you got a convertible, and you're enjoying, maybe you're putting out your hand. He said, Google car doesn't have those feelings. He is driving better than you. What is that feeling? Who gives it? And there is an Upanishad called Keno Upanishad. Keno Upanishad means by what? Keno, by what? And Shaunaka is asking his guru, Angira, what is that? He's saying divine being. He's saying not divine being. He's using the Deva, glowing Deva in Sanskrit, who is glowing, Deva. Which Deva gets into me when I eat food and like it or don't like it? When I talk, when I see, how does it make connection? I sees it. But how does it make a connection? I like it or I don't like it. Okay, it's put in an image. He's not asking how does the eye see. He's not asking how does the ear hear. He's not saying how do I get the feeling of touch. He's asking what is that divine Divya being, glowing Divya being is within us, which makes us understand it, enjoy it, like it, not like it. And Upanishad goes ahead and gives that beautiful answer. Schopenhauer, He written a beautiful 4 volumes book only on Indian Vedanta. He's a German. And there is an English translation. The exact name I have it is something to do with the word as will and representation. The world as willpower, will and representation. It's supposed to be a very famous book. What are we doing is what my question keeps coming up. Why is it we are not doing? So when I found the answer, what is it? Our school system, our parental system don't develop. I had some parent during this lockdown. Can you imagine? 9, 10, 11 years old boys. They've opened blogs. Doing what? Teaching other children of his age Bhagavad Gita. Father, mother comes here quite often. They made a blog, they finished studying Bhagavad Gita and now teaching other children Bhagavad Gita. So it is generating by what we are talking about. When I see Kanak and Tanishka, there is that tremendous mischievousness, and along with that, there's tremendous that realization. You must be feeling it, awakening. Kanak came the other day and was asking me, "Sir, give me one word so that which will fire me." I said, "Sure." "What?" I said, "Tell me, are you a boy?" He said, "Yes, sir." "How do you know that?" "I know it." I said, "How?" "I know, sir." I said, "Okay, I know you know. How?" So I know my body feature, mommy, daddy told me. I said, "Okay, now know you are perfect 45. He's appearing for 12. I think 3 subjects are over, no? 1 is over. Just think, champion Kanak is already placed by his effort and guided by parent and the school. Australia, going to do study, and he's going to get some scholarship also. Elder brother, already in Italy, and Ushabam is here. Where are those things for you and me? You and me, remember how much hard work just to get a seat in a college? So our education system is totally different kind. Now, highest teaching of the Vedas is the Upanishad. The final teaching. And that Upanishad, when you understand from it, it is called Vedanta. Veda is knowledge. Anta, we say end of all knowledge. Most people say. It is not. And there is one of the Indian philosopher in Harvard has given another meaning to the monks. And he says it is cutting edge of the knowledge. Like a knife, you have a knife has got a cutting edge. That. In Upanishad it explains Nirmaya. Nirmaya meaning the concluding knowledge is in the Vedanta. Every Upanishad has some Vedanta. Now, they say among the monks, Vedanta Nama Upanishada Pramana. Meaning if you talk about Vedanta, but you talk about Upanishad. And going ahead with these, Shankaracharya, he took tremendous effort. From the age of 8, he became a monk. By the age of 12, just think of it, Vijay, I keep thinking 12 years old, teaching 65-year-old monks. What power, no? And by the age of 32, he was to leave his body at the age of 16. When he was born, father and mother were very old. They didn't have any child. 68 and 72. The mother and father worship Mahadeva. We want a son. The Mahadeva apparently came in their dream and said, okay, you will get a son. What kind of a son do you want? Who will live for 100 years, but will be a pain in the neck for everybody, including you. He'll be like a normal people like us. Some good, most of the bad. Or world will never forget him, but he'll live only for 16 years. Mother and father had the wisdom to say, we want that with the 16 years. Now, when he came to 15 years, he was visiting Varanasi, Shankaracharya. And you know those gully, he was going through the gully, you must have read about this. He had a bath early in the morning. Those of you who've been to Benares, early morning when you're going actually to Shiva Mandir, Vishwanath temple, 2 o'clock at night, it's totally dark. My only fear was, and you have to walk barefoot, then don't step on the cow dung. That is, generally you step onto the cow dung. He is taking early morning bath, Brahma Muhurta is coming back, and he sees one Shudra, Chandal. He's with his legs stretched out, and 4 dogs next to him. Shankaracharya's disciples are all saying, move your legs away. He's coming. The Chandal didn't move his leg away. And Shankaracharya comes, he stands. What transpired, I don't know, but I know the later part of it. What did he say exactly? He asked him to move his leg. And he answered. Do you remember what he said? Do you recollect?
To whom you are asking
Right. He asked, to whom are you asking? Is it this flesh bone, Chandal? Or are you asking the Supreme Brahman? Shankaracharya hearing that word, and Chandal started speaking. Shankaracharya says, you may be anyone, but you are my Guru. The Shiva, it was Shiva who came as that to get him out of these, chuvachut. Those days it was, Vivekananda explains in America in 1893, 94, 95, he says that Indian Hinduism is the only religion in the world which tells us how great we are as human beings. If you look at all other religion, tells you what to do, how to reach God, not tells you who you are, how great you are. You know that Aham Brahmasmi, Tattvamasi, I am Atman Brahman, Prajnana Brahman, these are Mahavakya telling us how great you are. We'll cover that part, it's very interesting. And he goes and says, and this he didn't say in America, he said it when he came to India. First part he said it in America. Indian religion is the only one which makes human beings realize how great they are. There is a lady, I think her name was Margaret something. She became his disciple. She was a great socialite. She went to England from America to hear Vivekananda. Some friend of hers said, let's go. Now she is a world traveler, socialite. She said, I met Tsar in Russia. And when I met Tsar in Russia, I said, what a great man. And how small I am. She said, this is the feeling I got when I saw Tsar. And she said, when I heard Vivekananda, I said, what a great man he is and how great I am. And this is what Vivekananda told. But in India, he let the Indians have it. He said, yours is the only religion without the discrimination. It makes the differences, and the rich and the Pandits are enjoying the world. They can do anything. And the poor destitutes are suffering. And the next, he said, until unless you educate the woman, and today is the Mother's Day, your economy will never improve. And he put Sister Nivedita in charge of the bringing up the women's education. There's a beautiful Nivedita school, and beautifully, what is her name? Chief Minister, they call Didi. Yeah. Said she has given them a very big place to start that school, which was the original school that was old, dilapidated, small building. Now they've got a very nice school. So just see, today I see that the India is changing. And a lot of us people like you and me are taking interest. You're writing consciousness through the quantum physics. You know, quantum physics, I got introduced to it about 24, 25 years back. I didn't understand anything, but I didn't give up. I tried to keep on reading and understanding it. And if you look at it carefully, and I would love to read that, you know, it's talking about what ancient Vedanta talked about. I'm so glad that you looked at it that way and talked about consciousness. So it is happening. Now, you know, in the Shankaracharya came about, in the Upanishad, you have Advaita, which is only one. Dvaita, Dvaita Vishishta, like that. Ramanujam, Sankhya philosophy, like that. There are a lot of schools of Upanishad. This is just to get a little idea. And there's a beautiful poem to remember. You know, there are 108 Upanishads as per Muktika Upanishad. All these may be boring detail, but we should know. Just like we know about our family members and the name, we should know about us. It helped me once. You know how? There were two French people had come down and they landed up with deep respect for me. Why? In Varanasi, I had gone there and I was a young Air Force officer. And they happened to meet me. It was a party in which I was invited. They were also invited, foreigners. And talking about this, if we want to learn Vedanta, I started talking to them a little bit what I knew. And I landed up with this, took great interest and respect. And they wanted to hear more about Mahabharata and Ramayana and went for a boat ride with me. Just see, a little bit of knowledge if we have. Muktika Upanishad talks about 108 different types of Upanishad. But what Shankaracharya did, he chose 10 Upanishads. And he made a beautiful rhyme. He goes on, he says like, Isha Kena Prashna Katha, like that. It's a nice rhyme. And gives the 10. And there is the one down, there is Shvetashvara Upanishad. Whether actually Shankaracharya wrote or not, there is doubt by the language flow. They think it may be, you know, our Panchadashi Vidyaranya may have written it. We don't know that. And Upanishad is primarily not just answer. It is known because it asks a very good question. Questions are asked, sometimes it is mentioned who's asking. Like Shaunaka asked Angira. Like that. And then the answer. So it is known by great question. It is known by great answer. This is in very brief if we have to talk about it. This book, I talked about it last Sunday. Waking, Dreaming, Being. Even Thompson, he is saying on the 4th, 5th page itself that it is so important that instead of BC and AD by known our history, you should be known by before Upanishad and after. So look at it, Western world is talking about it. You and I don't hear any ministers talking about it or educators talking about it, but the Western world is realizing it now. AD and BC, and should date our history according to that. Now, this question I told you about from the Keno Upanishad, by what? Angiraj is being asked the question. Angiraj answers it very simply. It's very simple. He says, you take a pot, earthen pot. In Vedanta, lots of times they ask, take this simile. Take an earthen pot, clay pot. You see, the clay artist can make any kind of clay, pottery, plate, statue, whatever it is. And even if it is and if you look at Harappa, Mohenjo-daro, all this civilization is done by what? Those clay pots, which were baked. They're still there. There was one minister in UP. Suddenly he got this brainwave. Everybody was using plastic cup in the railway station. He became the railway minister. They used to eat it and throw through the window. So clattering and plastics and waste. See, he got into a great idea. And he said, let them give them cooler, this earthen pot. Let's give them tea in that. Let them throw, it will merge with earth. Till one journalist wrote, he said, Minister, today, if you go 6,000 years or 2,000 years civilization, all you find is baked pot. They will not be diminished. So then they change again. So he's saying, if you know clay, Karana, you will know everything about clay. If you know gold, all ornaments by gold. He goes ahead and gives this simple example. So, Karana will tell you Karyam as per the Sanskrit words. We're talking about it. Now, there is enormous universe. And this entire universe is, you and I say, God created. So now we are getting into that all the religions of the world, they can be put into two groups. When you study, because of the Upanishad, you can understand it. One is called that oriented, and the other one is called thou. What is that and thou? See, you must have read Nicaragua, I am that. Aham Brahmasmi. That is the Brahman, is the God. So generally, you will find all religion is not talking about God. You say generally religions are meant to be for God. But all religion is not talking about God. Like Buddhism, like Jainism. They are not talking about God. But there is theistic religion, like Christianity, like Islam, like Judaism, Hinduism. In Hinduism also, you'll be surprised. Sankhya philosophy is not talking about God. Or yoga, Patanjali Yoga Sutra. They have some God, but it is not the God like what we are talking about. So in Hinduism also we're not talking about God. So that thou oriented and that oriented. That is that God, who is the creator and based on which that book was written. If God is so powerful and God loves us, then why are we suffering? That is how the whole thing started off. Question. Could you turn some pages? Or your exams are going on? Finished? You're doing? Okay. It's little heavy. No, Vijay? Book is little heavy, no? No? We tried to make it for modern men and women so that they can have this doubt question. Why are we suffering? And the answer is beautifully given in Upanishad. I wish to start taking up a few lines from there every time and talk about it. So basically Upanishad is saying that look, we are saying in that oriented and thou oriented. There are two problems. In that oriented, God is powerful, God can do anything. But there's a big problem in that oriented. You have to have faith. Faith. You say Paramahansa Ramakrishna saw God. You can very well say, all right, that's very good for him. What about me? I am not seeing God. Right around him, when you go into Samadhi, and same Paramahansa Ramakrishna is answering that doubt. He used to go into Samadhi, and he is seeing, talking, laughing, crying. Other people are there, lots of them. 20, 30, 40 people are there. They are not experiencing what he's experiencing inside. They can very well say it's very good for him. What about us? You would say. This is one of my prayers to him all the time. Give us that insight so that we can see God like you do. And we will. We know that Vivekananda said, Paramahansa Ramakrishna asked, somebody asked Ramakrishna, why are we suffering? So Paramahansa Ramakrishna said, this is God's Leela. In Bengali conversation going on. This man says, we are dying and you are saying it is Leela. Leela is fun for God. What kind of a God is this? Paramahansa Ramakrishna tried to answer it like that, and then eventually he kept quiet for a minute. And then he looked at him and he says in Bengali, like that, Tumi ke? Who are you? This is that answer, that Brahma Satyam. You hear Shankaracharya, Brahma Satyam Jagat Nitya. You know the word around, you've heard it many times. Here Vivekananda says, Brahma Satyam Jagat Satyam. That is meaning yours and my Jagat is also real. We are facing it. We fall down, we break our hand, and you say it is not. But he goes on to say that who is the Jagat? And Upanishad goes ahead and shows it to you and me. So what is the problem? In which God-oriented religion problem is you have to have faith in God. You have to believe. And believing is a big problem today. Today's youngsters, Mom should be able to tell, they don't believe in God. And why? Most important reason, because adults like you and me are fighting over God. My God is bigger than yours and better than yours. The youngsters, they have started. We are spiritual people. We are not religious. In the Tao-oriented, you will tend to say Vedanta is Tao-oriented. In Chandogya Upanishad, 6th chapter, son comes back from Gurukul, 20 years of training. The father sees that the son is having a lot of ego. I have done that which you haven't done. You know, you see in Hindi movies and all that young girl. Yesterday only I was trying to see something for the Mother's Day. This girl is saying, mother doesn't have been to school. And they're living in a posh quarter, very nice, air-conditioned, lift. Mother is like a good mother. Father is well-traveled around and all. The girl is studying in an English medium. And she's coming and crying, I wish you were not my mother. Why? Because you don't understand English. And my friends and all laugh at me. And it goes ahead to show that how the girl realized that how great my mother is. And then she's of course crying. This is what is in the Chandogya Upanishad. Father sees the son, 6th chapter, and he says 9 different times, Tat Tvam Asi, you are that. And that explanation is given in different examples 9 times. You're nobody else but that. So, the primal cause of this entire universe, you, me, everything, if you know that one thing, which is thou-oriented, they're talking about. But thou-oriented is a big problem. In God's realization, there is a question: if God exists, where is He? Why can't I see Him? Why can't I see Him like I see you and me? So that's the problem with the thou-oriented, with that oriented. Thou-oriented is, I have no doubt I exist. So Upanishad is saying, Tat Tvamasi, you are that. How am I that? I'm this body. I try my best to score 100 of 100, but I don't. How can I be? I have sickness, I have aging, I have COVID-19, I have to wear mask. How can it be? That is the problem with the thou-oriented. Thou-oriented strength is what? I have no doubt I exist. God exists, there is doubt. I have no doubt I exist. So now, most people will think that the Vedanta Upanishad is thou-oriented religion. It is not. The Upanishad is telling us beautifully, which all of us must learn little, is what? It's saying, imagine a mountain. Top peak is the ultimate realization. You become Buddha, Jesus Christ, Paramahamsa. Now, with the God-oriented religion, you're practicing, doing rituals, and you're going up, becoming better, you're reaching there. But you have a problem of the existence of God. You know God is very powerful. And this side you're going up, you have no problem about your existence. But you have problem, that is the problem. I have debts in the market, I have to pay my premium, I have a bank loan. If I'm that powerful, why do I have all this? So these two, Upanishad is saying, thou-oriented going up, meeting on the top, and that-oriented going up, meeting on the top. When you reach there, Upanishad is saying you are not separate, you are one. That's how beautifully Upanishad explains. You are none other than that. And that is none other than you. And this is how very simply it became, thou art that, Tat Tvamasi. Going ahead and saying, you're not this body. You say, then who am I? And this is where I was talking to BP2 students and about 5 students. We associate ourselves, I'm this body, this is me, I'm fair, I'm tall, I've got big muscle, I love to eat, so I put on a lot of weight, I like to lose some weight. Associate totally. Where is Robbin Ghosh? Yeah. This is me. And that's where this suffering comes in. Suffering comes in from not knowing who you really are. So while Upanishad is saying, continue to work as that intelligent, smart being. Get connected to actually who you are. So who am I? Is it my mind? Is it my intellect? Is it my ego? Is it my body? What is it? So we have talked about it before, various Aparokshanavati, Drigdrishya Viveka, we talked about it. How to understand I'm not this body. This body is like something through which I have to operate. Like you got your mobile. You say, this is my mobile. You don't say this mobile is me. You have a car. You say, that's my car. Lovely car. You say, that's my car. You never say, the car is me. You say, this is my body. Do you mind you're stepping on my leg, my toe? But we say, this is me. And that is where you become smaller. because you limit yourself. You are to be infinitely strong. So what do we do? MRP 5, DP. Did you all get the message? I sent it to our team, I sent it to everybody. Can you imagine? Our student who's appearing for DP2, many of them have got, but she's got the highest. You can't imagine. She's got $100,000 scholarship from Temple University. I sent it to everybody.
Yeah,
You saw it?
Yeah.
Can you believe? 78 lakhs for 4 years. 25,000 per annum dollar. She first had been offered 15,000, not Temple, another university. Then she was there in the Waterloo in Canada. She had applied for Harvard, applied for Stanford, applied for Temple. Temple offered $60,000 by her qualification. She, in MBAP 5, she topped the world. She didn't lose one number. Imagine 4,000 words English essay. Think, Vijay sir, you and I writing 4,000 words English essay. How many faults people will find? She didn't lose one number. You know that exhibition in PYP 5, you have to do it like that in MBAP 5. Either science or social study or something, any topic of your own. It has to be one which nobody has thought, nobody has done it, called innovation. And we train them for 1 year for writing essay, 1 year for how to do that project. Can you imagine she got 100 in the world? 5,400 schools, 5 to 6 lakh children studying, and appearing for 10th standard, 5 to 6 lakh also appearing for 12th standard. Can you imagine? I tell our kids, I'm jealous of you guys. They say, why? I said, Monkey, if your father and I had your education, we'll be a great guy. The same group came to me. I keep talking to them. Because of COVID, I have not spoken to you guys. And I meet them and talk to them. 15, 16 children at one time. So this group had about 75 kids appearing for 10th standard. But I was talking to them when we were in MRP 3. So who's going to score how much? They said, we are working very hard. I said, I know you're working hard, but how much will you score? How much is the total mark? They said 56. How much are you going to score? Sir, we are working hard. They don't want to say. I said, I know you're working hard, but how much? Sir, we are working hard. I said, yes, I know. Supposing tomorrow dad and mom say, tomorrow we are going out, Saturday, we're going for a drive. We'll go out and eat out, maybe go for a little shopping. Will you ask mom and dad, where are we going? Or will you wait till next day when you get into the car? You'll eat up mommy daddy's head, no? Where are we going? What are we doing? Why are we going there? We should go there. All that will take place, no? I told him, you know before, where are you going? So how about telling me, where are you going? So same girl who stood top in the world said 48 instead of 56. I didn't say anything. I said, okay. Next one said same. Ananya said 48. Piyush said 46. I was going past Piyush to next girl who was Gianna. I still remember this thing. I gone past Piyush. The moment I heard 46, I came back again. Meaning those two are saying 48, I 46. But I didn't ask them. I just looked back and smiled. He is telling me, sir, I'm not as smart as those two. I said, I didn't say anything. I am asking, how does he know that? School has not told him. We are continuously being told, bombarded by the media, by people, by friends. You are maths type, you're English type. Yeah. So, everybody else, 38, 40, 33, all kind of numbers. I came back and I said, tell me, why is nobody saying 56? He said, 56? Sir, not possible. I'm telling you how we apply Vedanta into the children. I said, why? So we have to work very hard. Board exam, 5,400 schools, 5-6 lakh students appearing. I said, really? Why? So we have to work very hard. No fun then. I said, what happens if I show you, you will have fun and yet you will get 56? How many of you take us? Everybody's hand went up. I said, now what happened? You were saying 31, 38, 35. Sir, not working hard, no? I said, yes. You are saying? I said, yes. Then we are ready. I said, okay. How do we do it? I told them, imagine, there's an A4 sheet. Right, 5 and 6. 56. Laminate that. Put it all over your house. Right on top of your pillow. When you go to sleep, you should see 56, go to sleep. When you wake up, open your eyes, in front of your foot, 56. When you watch TV, so we are not watching TV, we are studying. I said, look, I don't mind you watch TV. Really? I said, yes. So everybody tells don't watch TV. I said, yeah, but I'm telling you, you can watch. But you write 56, 56, 56, 56, all four corners of the TV. In front of your toilet seat, write 56. When you sit down, you should see it. In your mobile, home screen, 56. Computer home screen, 56. When you sit down and eat, 56. When you meditate, you must start practicing a little bit of meditation. Very simple. Just watch how different you will become. Everybody will run behind you. You say, what are you doing these days? You say, why? You're different. So what happens? I told them, you just write that, that's enough. That's all. How are we going to get 56? No, you have to explain to us. Just by writing, we will get 56. I said, yes. How? I said, okay, imagine I asked first for Tanishka. I said, Tanishka, you're a girl, right? Yes, sir. I said, how do you know? Same dialogue. And with a lot of hesitation, she said, my body features and my parent. Next was a girl. Next, Piyush was a boy. I said, you're a boy, right? I said, yes, sir. How do you know? I know. And eventually, I said, you monkey, you know you're a boy, you know you're a girl. How come you don't know you are 56? He said, me, 56? I said, yes. Only thing you've forgotten. What happens? How would it happen, sir? Come on, we know our faults. I said, you are associating yourself only with your fault. You forget that. Say, I am 56. Just say it, look at it, think I'm going to do it. What will happen? He said, how will it happen? I said, I'll explain. Imagine you're going to play cricket. Okay? All the boys and girls are playing cricket. Papa, Mama is also gone. Okay, I'll also play. Grandma is also saying, neighbor's friend. A lot of people, 50, 60 people have joined in cricket. Now it's your turn to play. Will you go to play thinking I'm going to be out in first ball? You want to score century, no? Who doesn't want to? I said, tell me, who doesn't want to amongst you? Everybody said, we want to score a century. I said, a monkey, just like that, wanting to score century in a little gully cricket or a field cricket, why can't you start working towards 56? And you know the result, what children got, unbelievable. World topper came from our school. Top 21 were the top 150 in the world. And because of which she was offered 60,000. She said, sir, I've got 60,000. I said, happy? No, sir, happy, yes, of course. I said, is that enough? So you can't get more than $60,000, $15,000 per annum, sir. I said, you monkey, go and meet them. Talk to them. You know now how to talk to them. our children, they will be so smart. They will floor you and me, right? Usha will say yes. You know, Usha's son one day, Kanak. No, I shouldn't say. This monkey is here. He will also want to do that. They are so daring, you cannot believe. Can't believe. I can't believe. And I'm dealing with them for more than 25 years. Top 56. Next 3, 55. Next 6, 54. Next 5, 53. No, 3 are 53. Next 5 are 52. And then another 4, whatever the remaining number of 50. Top 21 got 92.5 and above, 92.4 and above, and top 100 out of 100. And the top 10 got 98 and above. So when I told her, she went and met them. See, $100,000 has come just by talking to them. What's your vision? What are you going to do? Why do you want it? And they said, yes, I'm impressed with you. Okay, granted. This is what it means is, you all recollect, we see the world, we see the universe. How are we seeing it? You say with your senses, no? You see me with your eyes and ears and all, right? This is what we say. Vedanta is saying not correct. How not correct? Vedanta says you can see me. What if you're sitting there and become unconscious? Can you see me now? You can't. If you're in coma, can you see me now? No. If I'm deep sleep, the world is shut off for me. No? So what is it making you see me is not eye, ears, nose, throat, etc. It is your consciousness, which is making those 5 senses feed to the brain, brain to the mind. Mind will not get any power unless consciousness gives you the power. What is this consciousness? That is the entire journey of the learning and how to use it. You know, when the consciousness gives the light to the mind, it is like sun is throwing light onto the moon. And the moon then throws the light to the earth. When you look at a beautiful moon, full moon, you never say this is sun's light, but you know it. But you never say it's sunlight. What does that mean? We are unconscious of our consciousness. You and I are doing everything. I can't even touch this without consciousness. I cannot learn anything, play anything, eat anything, talk anything, do anything. And we are unconscious of that consciousness. This is what much later I talked to her. She listened to it, being a Vedantist. And you know what? Would you like to tell them your result?
I topped the...
She stood first in her university. Here, just think. And when you started off, there must have been a lot of disbelief. When I was talking to her, she was looking like that, you know, not looking like this, looking like this, meaning, how can I make it? And then you monkey, just do it. And I spoke to her, I think 3-4 times. No? I think, come on, you can do it. You just go ahead. Worst comes worst, what you won't do it, no? That's the worst. And she did it. Top. I was so delighted to hear. You get an award today. Yeah. So, that little moonlight, which is sun to earth through the moon. Sun falling on the moon, giving the light to the earth. Consciousness landing, you can there behind you, you can have very good water. You can drink that also. Consciousness throwing light onto the mind. Otherwise, mind cannot act. And mind has got another name. Those of you read Joseph Murphy, I don't know if you've read Power of Subconscious Mind. You all must have read Secret. Yeah. And there is, after Secret, there is Magic. There is another book. This is Notes from the Universe. It is not from same writer, but she is forwarding this book. And it's what? It is the power of the subconscious mind. Joseph Murphy. Name of the book is Power of Subconscious Mind. It's very powerful. But talking to everybody, it is very powerful. But don't focus on the subconscious mind. Focus on your consciousness. What is the difference? Consciousness, there is no chance of not doing it. Why everybody not getting then 56 or 45 in DP? Because of our beliefs and disbelief. The beautiful thing happened. Ananya, who was with Tanishka, side by side, both said 48, both went for 56, and final result, Ananya got 55. Very nice. Tanishka came with mommy and daddy to pay their respect. Ananya came to me after 5 days. Sir, I have a question. I said, yeah. So I've worked very hard. Why didn't I top the world? I got one shot. I said, I'll tell you. I really want to know. I asked her, you're going to appear for DP now? How much are you going to score? Now DP is 45. She said 45, straight away. Not thinking, not looking like that. Sir, 45. I said, how sure are you? So I'm not going to make the mistake again. I have no doubt. Just watch, her result will be out another 2 months. She will do 45. You know, until today from India, there are no world toppers like this. Now 3 years from our school going. Who are these kids? They're your kid. I said, okay. How sure are you? Sir, I will do 45. I said, very good. Tell me, when you wrote 56, how much did you believe in that 56? So then she looked down. I said, you monkey, that's the reason. Whereas Tanishka believed in it. You believe, I'm a little weak in that. I'm like, what if I don't? What if I don't? What if I don't? These things try to eat you up. I said, don't worry about what if you don't. So what if you don't? It's okay. You proceed with the knowingness that I will. Now, in the philosophy, they say, this universe is waiting. You've seen Ganpati Bappa Maurya or Mother Lakshmi or Durga Mata or Shiva. Have you noticed their hand is like this? What does it mean? It means Tathastu. What do you want from me? I'll give it to you. We don't ask. I am asking what I can get. I said, what you can get if you know already, why are you asking? You will get it. T.E. Lawrence, very famous, Lawrence of Arabia, must have read all of it. He's writing there, all men and women dream, but dangerous are the men and women who dream with their eyes open, because they make their dreams come true. See, look at Isaac Newton, Einstein, Henry Ford. What did they do? When Henry Ford was going to make a car, he talked to the world. Look, it's going to be like that. This will be the body. And I don't know if you'll know, the tire was made out of solid tire, solid rubber. They said, okay, now those days it was horse's chariot or maximum bullock cart for, he said, okay, but how are you going to put the horse underneath that hood? He said, no, it's not a horse, it's going to be an engine. You know, in Mercedes, they have their top model called Maybach. Maybach is actually the name of the who started Mercedes. It's such a beautiful model. It's supposed to be just below Rolls-Royce. That Maybach has been given to that model. When he talked about this kind of engine, he's an engine specialist. Everybody didn't believe him. And he made it, and now notice, it's such a wonderful thing. Same thing happened with Henry Ford. They didn't believe. How can a car go? What is this engine? What is this steam? So, yours and my belief system is based on our little knowledge. Now, how do we develop it? Very simple. Through these meditative exercises, by being truthful, not telling one lie, even in a joke. Start practicing it. You know what will happen? In 12 years, it is written in ancient Vedanta. 12 years, if you can practice without telling one lie, then whatever you say, God will come and make it happen. And it does happen. I haven't told lie for maybe 50, 60 years. More than 50. Earlier I used to, like when I was in his age, I didn't know. Nobody told me the power of truth. I realized it later. Supposing I thought about Alfonso Mango. My guy, he goes for shopping to bring flowers and things like that for everybody. He said, shall I bring it? I said, no. Over here, what happens is Veda, Sharda, they don't eat mango. Why? Because it is rich with calorie and all that stuff. I said, no, forget it. Usha ma'am brought a box of mango. Did you? How did she bring it? How did she get a message? Let's take a box of mango. You'll be surprised. It will happen to you again and again and again. And you will see you are connected to this universe. Every thought of yours, every word of yours will come true. But you have to follow this little bit. Purity. Not finding fault with anyone. We first say no to our brothers and sisters. This is who you are, to your friends. Now, don't find fault. Find fault with your own self and say, what am I have to change? I have to change. Chant with me silently or loudly as you wish. Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. May each one of you be protected with the Supreme Kalpa Yogi Mahavatar Babaji's blessings. Hold your hand and guide you, protect you from adversities, remove all your obstacles, and take you from this state of multiple division, devised self to oneness. No separatedness to oneness of realization. To Krishna, Yogakshema Vaham Vaham. Divine Mother, Jagat Janani. Brahma Rupi Mother. Brahma Vishnu Maheshwara. Blessings of Paramahansa Yogananda. Protect us, guide us, hold our hand. Sri Yukteswar Giri Lahiri Mahasaya, bless us so that we may attain that oneness with you as the supreme Turiya conscious state that you gurus are there, always guiding us silently, ever present. Swami Sri Vivekananda, Holy Mother Sharada, Paramahansa Ramakrishna. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.